Bleeding Heart on Fox.
Countless Americans are struggling to find quality, affordable health care coverage on the Obamacare website. Americans like 62-year-old David Figen, who last night on our show told us it took days to navigate all the glitches, and he's now on hold for another 45 days. Yet, meanwhile, here in Washington, politicians are debating whether the website problems are really all that bad.
The program has crashed and burned at least 3 times. It's been down the whole time you've been testifying. The system is down at this moment.
I would suggest the website has never crashed.
Joining me now, Teresa Payton, former White House Chief Information Officer under President George W. Bush. She was tasked with redesigning the whitehouse.gov website. Teresa, thanks for joining us. Wow, I have to ask you, how in the world can you say that this website has not crashed?
Yeah, I think this is very difficult. You know, a lot of times techies get caught up in the site didn't crash. It's actually that the site's just slow or a form is not working. And in this case, if you think about it, the customer's king here. And what we learned at the White House is if they came to the site, couldn't get the information they wanted, in their mind, it crashed.
Right, exactly. I think that's what so many people take away. And during the entire hearing, practically, the site was down. So it was right there in front of everybody to see. Shocking. The other big tech question that everybody was talking about was privacy, because I'm sure, as you know, there was language buried deep in the website that said, you know, you really can't trust this site to keep your privacy safe. Sebelius countered that. Here's what she said.
That is boilerplate language that should not have been in this particular contract, because there are the highest security standards are in place and people have every right to expect privacy.
So, Teresa, she said, we're going to get rid of this. It's not going to be on the website anymore. But does that mean we're safe, or does that mean a line of code they just got rid of? What does it mean?
Well, I think it's a little more complicated than that. You're absolutely right. And on the first thing is, I was glad to hear her say, we have a right to expect privacy. And so I hope to get customer confidence back, they'll actually create a privacy policy that we can all read and understand, and it should be front and center on that website. The second piece, though, is even a great privacy and security policy doesn't mean that the website is not hackable. So people need to take precautions and keep that in mind as they're putting information on the website.
Well, Teresa, isn't it true, because I just read this today, that they're having problems with a password reset that is causing an opportunity for hackers out there? And from what I've read in the trades, what they're saying is, you know, it's not unusual that there's a problem. The problem is that they haven't found it yet. And why wasn't it fixed? Why wasn't it fixed immediately? What do you say to that?
Well, you know, one of the things that I learned in my time at banking and at the White House is time and testing can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And it sounds like they feel like they didn't have enough time to actually test. In this situation with the password reset, one of the things that we can't control is some of these bugs in the system. So a piece of advice I have for everybody is there are going to be other bugs. It could put your data at risk. So go ahead and get a unique email address that's not attached to your bank account or the rest of your life, and use that unique email address just for healthcare. That way, if the bad guys get in and get your data, it's going to be harder for them to take over the rest of your accounts online.
Well, Teresa, that's great advice. I want to play one more piece of sound. This is Congressman Rogers asking Sebelius about testing, the very thing you brought up. Here it is.
Has each piece of that code that's been introduced in the system been security tested?
That's my understanding, yes, sir. And the testing...
Each piece of that code has been tested? Yes or no?
I don't know.
What do you make of that, Teresa? It sounds like she's confused about what they've done, what they haven't done. Were you surprised?
I was a little surprised, because any program manager worth their weight would make sure that there was a good full testing plan. And there's automated testing tools. It doesn't just require bodies these days. You can actually program testing tools to test all kinds of scenarios. So I think one of the questions that needs to be asked is, have you answered the testing questions to the satisfaction for the security team? And do we have data in grave danger of either being corrupted or stolen? And I think that's a key question that needs to be answered.
And not answered yet. So many questions, so few answers on the technical difficulties with this website. Teresa, thanks for coming in tonight and chatting with us about it. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back with my 2 cents more and the answer to our question of the day. Do you buy Sebelius's apology? Stay with us.
Monaco Rare Coins has discovered a hoard of absolutely stunning, original, mint condition Morgan silver dollars. Without question, the most collected United States rare coin in existence.